What's up, man?
How's it going?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good. I'm trying to stop it stop women from buying my energy drink. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. Tell them that if they drink it, then they will. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, I have no idea what women want, and honestly, I'm so checked out on even attempting to care. Like,
I was thinking about changing the box. You know how like a Gucci bag, it says Gucci over and over and over again?
yeah.
Like just the word Gucci. What about that? But it's just the word nigger over and over again on the box.
Well, I mean, then you would have that clientele buying it, and are you sure you want that?
you think you think they will? Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think
They would be like, "Oh shit, man, I gotta get
they
me
would.
some of this. This is nice."
Do they drink energy drinks? I mean, I guess
Uh,
they do.
Well, I mean, I go to all the hippie food stores and I see a lot of stuff called mood drinks. They don't explicitly drink energy drinks, but they'll drink stuff with like ashwagandha or whatever it's called, and especially CBD oil. I don't know what that is. Some kind of weed derivative oil.
Well, they drink ashwagandha because that's their mom's name.
Which demographic are we talking about again?
I thought we were talking about black people. Who
Oh
are
yeah,
you
well,
talking about?
I was talking about white women.
Oh,
Like like white women,
yeah. I get those two demographics confused all the time.
well, I mean, they have like basically the same level of agency, so
Yeah, I mean they're both have childlike,
yeah,
energies.
they like to dance. They have no real visual spatial intelligence.
They both have a history of being buck broken by strong white men.
Yes, very much so. Speaking of which, can we talk about Kanye for a minute?
Yeah, what did he do?
Well, he's on his Nazi bend, but probably on some kind of nitrous oxide bender right now, I assume. But like the whole thing with him and that Italian woman, I mean, like there's like a text and a subtext element. Like for those who did not fail to become a screenwriter, such as me, text is like the explicit, exoteric the explanation for whatever the hell you're reading, and subtext is the implicit, esoteric explanation. And the text of what he's doing is like he's just trying to show off like he's high status. He has a white woman whore who he can parade around nude in public. He has power over her. Also, she sort of resembles his ex-wife, so there's an element of revenge there. He can't get revenge
Mm.
against his ex-wife, but he can against this Italian model. By the way, Italians are fairly they're pretty good in terms of like European races. They're pretty solid. I don't have any. I mean, they're way better than Armenians, that's for sure. But the subtext here is that like he's like, "Yo, I got this white woman here. I'm gonna use her to attract some hot white man to break both me and her." Because that's how gays work. Like what gays do, at least the ones who aren't preying on little children, the ones who are, I guess you'd say, the most normal ones or the least abnormal ones, what they do is they sort of corral hot women and they control access to them so they can access hot white men or really
He's like
anyone.
an angler fish, but his dangle
Yeah,
is
this
a
one's a slut.
fat
Yeah,
attached
she's I guess she's kind of fat. Yeah, she looks okay.
dad to come in and uh kind of have sex with both of them at the same time. Is that the is that the plan?
Yeah, the plan
Kanye
is,
wants a white guy.
I mean, ANAG. You know what that means? I can't really say it right now. Do you know what that means?
A um
All
a
in
let
are
me try and
gay.
guess. All um all nice uh what was it? NA
AG.
all Anang. All nice guys are glad to see you. Is that
Well,
what
I
it
mean,
stands for?
it's a nag. So all blank are gay, and the blank starts with N. Are we playing
Um,
hangman right now? Do you want to pull up like a get a sheet of paper? We could draw a little hangman. The hangman would be really appropriate given the demographics we're describing too.
it's just every game ends with the same word.
Like we talked on, I think we talked during text, or at least I pitched the idea of you running like a game show sort of deal, but uh, bigoted, and that would be really good. I mean, it would be a really funny gimmick, like ethnic groups for $500 on racist Jeopardy. With this
Yeah,
uh, with this ethno-religious group, you're guaranteed to lose. And then someone would say, "What are the Yankees?" And then everyone would just glare at him like, "What a retard."
they have that problem with a lot of game shows. Like I don't know if you ever got into Survivor, but they're on like season 30 now, and the problem with Survivor is that people have been watching the game for so long that there's like levels and levels and levels of metagame going on. So people have been watching this show their entire lives, and they're like Survivor experts.
I did
So
not
that's
even know Survivor had a metagame.
oh, dude, yeah.
I've never even
Yeah,
seen
it's
it.
so there's like decision trees and basically like guys who are like pro gamers, but for Survivor, and they try to get on the show because they put all this time in like like studying it and like the best choices to make and like how you team
Well,
up with people.
yeah, there's like a social element to it, and there's like a social media management portion to it because you have to deal with voting, I guess. From I mean, do
Yeah,
they have
but
the
it's
people
like
on the island vote, or do they have the viewers vote?
it's the people on the island vote,
Okay.
and then the final vote is all the people on the island who've been screwed over vote for the winner.
So it's
But
whoever's
it's
the
like that
nicest
chart.
guy in the end versus whoever's the
Yeah,
biggest
yeah, yeah.
asshole.
You seen that chart? It's like how basketball became metagamed over time, and it's like
The one
where
with
all the shots were.
I think it's the 3-point shot thing, the
Yeah.
chart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
I've
the
seen
game
the
got
chart.
kind of boring because the game was solved. That's what happened in Survivor. Anyway, that's what my point. All this is what's going to happen to our nigger hangman game after 2 episodes.
Yeah, well, we do have the biggest autistic demographic, so I could see that happening really quickly. But I mean, the inward hangman thing that's not really a game show. That's more of a comedy show joke, like where every single instance of the game show is actually just that one word,
It's
and
funny.
there and
We
there
should
the
invite people who are normies and they don't know
yeah
what they're getting into and have them
well
play that game, and the word
yeah
is slowly
they could
revealed and
play
they
the
don't want to
straight
say
man.
it.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be kind of funny. I mean, it's also funny if you get an actual comedian on the show, and then they play the hangman like while pretending they don't actually know what's going on, and they always pick the not out of politeness but out of complete and utter ignorance. They always pick the thing that is not actually true, and it just makes you lose your mind while you're watching it and just laugh at the absurdity of it. I mean, like that would actually be like a comedy show like Saturday Night Live or Mad TV or In Living Color. That was a really good show in Living Color, despite the demographics. I mean, we got Jim Carrey got to start there. The Wayans brothers. You remember Homie the Clown? Homie Don't Play That. That
In
show was
living
awesome.
color. I don't
Oh
know. I don't
man.
like the sound of that.
Well, it was basically ethnic Saturday Night Live, and I think it was
Oh,
filmed in like Cleveland or something, which is quite the
okay.
gamble in my opinion. But
I mean, really, they could do Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night live. It's not like it's not like they got to get up the next morning.
yeah, they could do like every single weekday at like
It would probably
9
be
p.m.
more
to
like,
midnight.
Yeah, it'd probably be more like 11 a.m. live. That's 11
Well, that's
a.m.
because
to
if it was a morning show, if it was like the morning drive show, it would start at like
the
1
black
p.m.
the black morning news at 1 p.m.
Ah,
Yeah.
I really
Did
think
you?
that okay, I'll go. I think that like we've been screwed over by the sort of not just the establishment Republicans in Washington D.C., but like also the establishment media corporations like Fox and yeah, all the others are ones that are supposedly right wing, but are more just center left, really. And it would be so easy to just dismantle like the entire leftist project, like with a sort of a Daily Show knockoff. Like you remember the Daily Show, right? Like that was
Oh
imagine
yeah.
that, but like on in like a TV show format or bigoted Mad TV where it's just sketch comedy or like a sitcom. It would be pathetically easy for even just a mid-tier writer like myself. And I am mid. I am not that good. I am exactly average as a writer to just totally dismantle like all these leftist tropes in these comedy formats and just have it like, as a show. You could do it like I think that they used to do like a 6 weeks where it's like, I think one episode every, for 5 days a week, or if it was one episode a week for like 12 weeks. I don't remember all that shit. I learned it a long time ago, but I forgot it all. But it would be so easy to do this, but of course they never do because like all these media corporations that are nominally right wing or they don't actually want it to demolish the left. They just want to be able to extract money from us while still being invited to all the leftist cocktail parties and all the
Did
leftist listening parties.
did you ever see the Mad TV skit about Survivor Race War where they did what if Survivor was split up, the tribes were different races and they had so
Kind of reminds
the
me of
black.
Dave Chappelle, the race drafts.
Yeah. It was like that, except that so the Mad TV one is like the white tribe is made up of like bodybuilders, and
Accurate.
all of the games are completely unfair. It's just like swimming, and all the white guys like high five, and the black people are like fuck again. They keep getting screwed over. It's like aerospace engineering, and like all the white guys like high five.
Yeah.
And it's extremely racist. That's the great thing about Mad TV is like all
Yeah.
their skits were so even for the 90s. It's just like normie 1995 humor was so out there compared to what they have now. Like there was that one bit about the Snickers bar, the black guy getting pulled over by the cop, and he's like, "Damn." And he pulls out a Snickers bar, but it says Sniggers, and he takes a bite
Oh
out,
my
and it's
god.
like not yeah, it's not just the N word. That's the bit.
Close
It's
enough.
like not going anywhere for a while. Grab a snake. Like that was mainstream TV. So yeah, to your point, like that was centrist normie, daytime TV bullshit like 20
And I
years
mean,
ago.
if you go back to the 80s and the 70s, you had Archie Bunker, and he was obviously made. And before that, you had like the rural TV shows, which weren't actually that bigoted, but they just focused in more of a positive vision sort of way on rural lifestyles, like Andy Griffith. I guess the Beverly Hillbillies, but sort of not really. That was more of just, I guess, comedy of errors, or maybe what do you call it, where you're just dealing. Everyone's trying to be polite, but they're from different cultures. But
I don't know.
still,
I
you have,
haven't seen any of this shit other than like the bad 90s remakes of all these shows. You remember that
yeah,
period where they like started remaking the
yeah.
Flintstones and all this shit, and they
I,
did
I remember the Flintstones movie. I remember the Space Jam and all the Bugs Bunny cartoons and Warner Brothers, but ethnic.
the Brady Bunch with the weird sexual tension. Do you remember that one?
Uh,
There was they
maybe
made a Brady Bunch remake in the 90s with like an
was
incest
that a
B plot.
movie or was
Yeah.
that like? Oh
No,
yeah, I think
it
I saw
wasn't
the
like a
movie.
It wasn't a hentai I downloaded off of LimeWire. It was it was a real movie
I'll
that
make
came
a
out in
note
like
of
the
that.
90s. Yeah, no, it was very bizarre. I remember seeing this shit as a kid too, and just not getting any of the references. And
Well, if you look at all, I don't know if you are an expert gooner, but my the people I talk to on anonymous image boards who are gooners,
the
they
people you
all
talk to
know
in
how to.
glory holes.
Yes, yeah. It's like, hey Frank, what are you doing these days? Oh, just hanging out, sucking things off. But I mean, these guys know how to categorize like an ethnic group just by like studying. No, we're not even the earlobe physiognomy. We're in like the part of your eyebrow where it meets just above the bridges of your nose. They're studying that, and they can tell difference between different like Asian ethnic groups, or whether or not you're Armenian or Georgian, based on how your forehead crinkles.
Yeah, and that's to be like a sincere racist, it takes a ton of effort. Like you really have to know,
Well, you just have to be really
thousands.
enthusiastic about it. You have to be
Hmm.
interested in this sort of thing. Like a
Yeah,
100 years ago, these guys would have been categorizing beetles or caterpillars. Now they're catching Pokemon and jacking
yeah.
off.
Being racist is like a job interview. It's mostly about showing up with a firm handshake and having the right attitude and enthusiasm, and screaming the N word
Yeah,
if
yeah.
someone looks at you.
Well, I mean, what else are they gonna do? Like the labor market's fucked. The dating market's fucked. Like what we're dealing with these days is basically a labor dispute, at least in terms of dating. Like with women, they want everything for free, and oddly enough, there are an endless army of simps willing to not just fight and kill, but also die for feminism. Like, I mean, they're look at cops. I mean, cops are willing to kill you and to die for like vax mandates and lockdowns and you know divorces and taking your kids off to your wifey and stepdad so he can beat them and
Yeah, well,
molest them.
cops are a tool. Cops are,
Yeah,
people say cops
cops
are
are
good or bad. That's
livestock.
like, yeah, it's
They're
like saying
livestock.
is a shovel good or bad? Is a front
Yeah,
end loader good or bad? It's
yeah,
just a tool that people
yeah. It
use.
has it has no agency. It exists just to they exist just to dominate other people, and they don't really care about the details as long as they get to do it. As long as they're high, as long as their status is a bit higher than yours, they're good.
Yeah, I know a lot of cops, and
It's
they're
sort of
basically just like they're just like dudes who are jocks, and they need a paycheck, and they don't,
yeah.
they just want to grill, and they'll do whatever. Like they're not good or bad. They're just indifferent.
Well, it's kind of like a feminine mindset in a way because it's status obsessed because they're obsessed with relative status, not an absolute status. Like as long as they have status over someone else, their absolute position in life can be pretty miserable and they'll be happy.
So it's like
Whereas
status, high time preference status, like
yeah,
current moment like goldfish memory status.
yeah, like spiritually in the Evolian sense, spiritually
Right,
ethnic.
right, right. Yeah, I think it depends, man. I think there are two different types of cops. There's the guy who's like got a barbed wire bicep tattoo, and he's like his posture's a little too straight, and he's got to stick up his ass.
He
There's
has
that
he has
kind
a
of guy.
he has a Punisher decal with the blue line on the back of his
Yeah, yeah,
pickup truck.
yeah. Punisher with the Trump hair on it.
Yeah,
Um,
for,
next to the truck balls, and the
for
picture
those
of that cartoon guy pissing on
yeah,
something.
Calvin pissing on something. For those of you who are not complete fucking weebs, the Punisher killed probably more cops than criminals in the comic books. So at least I think he did. Was well, I don't know. A lot of them are both cops and criminals. So like the idea of a Punisher being a cop is really doesn't make much sense in the Reddit sort of way. Like, well, actually, but that's my well,
Yeah,
actually.
I don't know. I just that's
What
something
what are
I've
the other
seen
kind of
on.
cops?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So the other kind of cop, and I know several of these guys. So my uncle was a cop for like 30 years. He would clock in, he would drive behind Circle K, turn his radio off, pull out his Game Boy Color, get a big gulp, and play WarioWare for 12 hours before clocking
that
out.
is based.
Meanwhile,
Oh my god, that
his
is based.
radio is going. People are just getting murdered in his district. People are just being violently raped, and he's like trying to play that elevator
Oh
game
my
in
god.
Wario where you got to time it just right to get the
I,
coins.
I'm
And
pretty
he just
sure
took his fucking paycheck and went home.
I'm pretty sure in my ROM hacking days I interacted with a couple of those guys because some of the guys who I talked to on various ROM hacking forums before we were all purged for being Trump voters about 2014, a lot of those guys they knew an awful lot about demographics and crime, and they also knew their Final Fantasy tactics. Like they knew the
So
meta.
okay, this is super. There's absolutely a type of cop who is like an early online guy, and like you said, all these guys got purged. There used to be a blog. There used to be a ton of cop blogs actually.
Oh
There was a
yeah,
big one in Chicago that was really
I read that
popular, and it
one.
just talked about yeah. So journalists got that one shut down, which is
I
like,
believe it.
is that like pro democracy to get like a news blog shut down? I don't
Well, I
know.
mean,
I don't
are
know
you
how that
talking
works.
democracy or are you talking our democracy?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Is that I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
But
our democracy is like our, as in the mafia sense of our little thing, and especially the ethnic mafia sense. If you know who actually, if you know why all those mafia dons had rabbis, you know what they mean
this
by
thing of this thing
our
of ours, and
democracy.
it's just a bunch of rabbis sucking off little kids.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
this thing of ours.
well, yeah. I mean, not that I really care as long if it's as long as it's their own people who they're doing that to. I don't really care. Like last time I was banned off Twitter, some Middle Eastern ethno religious group member, he was patting himself on the back for, or herself rather, if I want to be politically correct, on the back for getting his genitals removed. And I told him, I think, and I quote, well, I think that mustache man would really appreciate you removing your genitals, given your ethnic makeup. And especially when it means you won't reproduce, you really are sort of completing his plan, and for that I applaud you.
Yeah. So when a Jewish troon gets their penis removed, does a rabbi suck the neo vagina?
Uh well, I don't know. That would be something really interesting to ask on Reddit.
Well, because you know they do that for circumcisions, right?
Yeah, yeah, I know the what's it called, the bris or something.
I think
Benai
they call
bris.
it the Bloody Mary, or the bloody chutzpah. I think that's the technical name for it.
Well, not doing it to my kids, so whatever.
Yeah, I had my son circumcised, because I don't give
Yeah,
a shit. I'm not like I don't care about human rights. I don't give a fuck. So
yeah,
I
you.
took him in, and the way they do it is they got these little O-rings. It's almost like an O-ring that goes on a cylinder for like a
Yeah,
gas cap or a coupler, but it goes on a baby dick instead. It's almost like something that would go inside of a propane tank, and they put it around the baby's dick, and then they cut it, and then that little ring holds the rest. I guess it holds the dick on so it doesn't fall off or something. I'm not sure exactly how it works,
whoopsie.
but the guy, yeah. So there's a doctor and a nurse, and they've got this little, it's almost like a key ring on the doctor's belt of baby dick rings, and he pulls it out like he's a janitor and goes through all the different rings to figure out which one to put on your kid's dick. And he kept going through them, and
Trying
he's
out
like,
for
nope.
size.
Yeah, and he had to go to the biggest one. And
Oh
I
wow,
looked at the
you're so
nurse.
lucky.
I looked at the nurse, and I went, nice. And she didn't say anything. It was really awkward. And the room was just silent for a minute.
Well, I'm sure that in like 20 years, when your son has no feeling, he'll cite this podcast in his manifesto.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Awkward
No,
laughter.
my family's not gonna make it that long. Let's be honest.
Well,
I
as lo-
don't.
as long
I
as
think
long as
I've
it's
probably got about
memorable,
5-10
actually.
years before I do. Who was that wrestler? Um,
I know who you're talking about. I don't know anything about wrestling outside of
what
wrestling.
was his name? The guy who he gave his family a stern talking to.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think I got about 5 years in me before one of those happens. Chris Benoit, that's his name.
yeah. Is he like
R.I.P. Chris.
Quebecois, or is he from Louisiana or northern Maine or something?
Yeah, he was a French Duke, um, who got into WWE after the
Like
French.
literally a duke?
Yeah, he was related to the Earl of Sandwich, I believe,
Wow,
and yeah,
quite the bloodline
that
right there.
yeah Benoit. That his family invented the beignet, which is a popular type of
Toilet?
donut. Yeah, well, no, that's a
That's
bidet.
bidet. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
bidet.
yeah. Well,
Wow, I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
everything in France etymologically is descended from words for toilets because everyone over there, they smell.
Scatological. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
do
they like
smell
shit. They smell like shit. Yeah, yeah,
I
they're
was on.
disgusting, disgusting people. Really.
Yeah, I have another bus story about that actually. I was on the bus. I think it was at the beginning of my the bus journey I described last time, and I think we were going through parts of Pennsylvania, and there was this French woman who was here to teach students French or something, probably just to get away from France and the diversity there. And she did kind of smell, and it was slight, but it was slightly disgusting.
Was she hot or was she
She
just
was pretty average.
yeah,
She,
average and
yeah,
smelly?
average,
That sounds about
frizzy
right.
haired.
Yeah, French people. So I'm French on my
Oui.
father's side. My grandmother was a nun who got knocked up and moved to America. So my grandmother was a
Absolutely
whore.
French. Absolutely
That's
French.
yeah. They're
That's
all
like
basically like
the
that.
quintessential French moment right there.
Yeah, my grandmother was a French whore.
Well, I'm
Um,
just glad she's not. You're not Catholic then.
I think she must have been right. Are there other
Well, I
kinds
mean,
of
she must.
nuns?
Well, I mean, none to get knocked up. The ones that you know, I think the Quakers had some sort of religious order thing, but they were pretty sticklers about not having sex. So,
Dude, other denominations should get nuns. Could you imagine Protestant nuns? How funny would that be?
like, they would be the most insufferable fucking cunts you've ever met. We already have Protestant nuns that are called radical feminists.
Just a picture a nun with like the haircut of a woman complaining to the Applebee's manager.
Well, I think it would actually just be like the really short bangs that are like, especially when they have like an extremely like a 6 inch long forehead or 6 inch tall forehead, and then the bangs are just straight across, but it's cut really short, and then like the rest of it is just the I was molested as a child haircut that they have, and it's
Yeah,
dyed purple, and
yeah.
that would be like the Protestant nuns, and then the rest would be like a sort of dominatrix outfit and covered in tattoos. But then they would and they would also have like a glow in the dark like flashing light butt plug in the entire time. But if you ever comment on it, they would immediately sue you for sexual harassment. That's another thing. Like I've been considering, like this is like a comedy bit, but I've been considering paying like some porn whore like $200 to like do like a completely safe for work, no sexual activities involved skit that's just like 2 minutes long where she's in like a gym in like see through knee length scrunchy butt yoga shorts and a sports bra, and with like visible nipple piercings and a visible clit piercing and like a butt plug where there's a flashlight in the butt part, and she's just like humping the air, and the butt plug is like visibly vibrating, and like their dude's just working out, like trying so hard not to look at her, and she's just humping the air like inches from their face, and then she's like just talking on like, and she has a headset and she's talking just as loud as I am, where like all six of my neighbors can hear every word I'm saying in my shit stain apartment about, oh my god, there's so many creeps in this gym. And then she just calls the cops on this one dorky looking guy who's awkwardly trying to like curl
I'm
to
just
5 pound
I'm
dumbbells.
picturing you describing this to a woman as you're strangling her to death, like in a grocery store parking lot.
Yeah, I just have like 550 cord around like two forks, and it's wrapped around her neck, and I have my feet on the back of her head, and I'm just
And
pulling.
you're like, it's gonna be great. We're gonna upload it to TikTok. It's gonna
Yeah,
be so good.
and
She's like, please, I have a family.
her face is turning purple, and her tongue is hanging out of her mouth, and then she calls the cops on the incel doing the 5 pound dumbbell curls, and instantly like four Delta Force operator cops just like leap through a plate glass window and beat the guy doing dumbbell curls to death with like e-tools.
Right? You just see a red dot shine through the window on his forehead, and
Yeah.
he just gets stoned by a sniper rifle.
Yeah, and then they just go in there and bayonet his corpse.
So um do you smoke cigarettes? You said you're getting nicotine.
Uh
Do you do like Zen, or what do you do?
yeah, I don't actually, I said I was getting caffeine, you're just retarded, but we can talk about that if you
Oh,
want.
I must have like
Hallucinated.
yeah, I must have like
You just really
hallucinated
wanted
that.
caffeine. You really wanted nicotine, and you were like,
Yeah, that much, dude. So I quit this week. Caffeine and nicotine. I quit
wow,
both. I'm down to
you must be
0
so
milligrams.
retarded right now.
I had like a couple days where I felt great, and now I just feel like I can't think at all. Um,
Yeah, I finally got my laptop bed sort of deal so I can lay down in my bed and look straight up at my laptop and type because I have pretty severe chronic neck pain if I sit upright for more than 2 hours. And I finally got that, and so I had some pep. Well, not these aren't peptides. These are nootropics of some sort, bromantane, which you recommended to me, and then some other thing that's like a memory enhancer. And they taste like shit, but when you combine them with caffeine and all the other
oh yeah,
supplements you take, they are really amazing. It works really well. It's like I can actually remember things without having to write them down, and I can read a book and remember. I still remember, like, I started reading a book on C programming, got the first 3 chapters, and I still remember them, which is amazing because I don't remember barely anything from the last 5 years of my life, but I remember those
yeah,
pages in that book.
yeah. You get to a
What
point
were
where
we
you're
talking about?
stacking
Oh yeah,
so
caffeine.
well. You're stacking so many supplements. That's kind of where I was at. I was just
Yeah,
taking so much shit, and I
like
couldn't think
$300 a
straight.
month.
Yeah, you end up spending a bunch of money on bullshit. And I wanted to get back on trend. So
Yeah,
last year I started taking it, and I went through a little bit of a manic episode. And it
like
got me
seriously,
yeah, it got me a little bit of a boo boo at work. I started chimping out at people. Um,
is
just
that why you
freaking
had to
out.
move to Louisiana or something or
That's
Texas?
part of why I had to get a job in the middle of nowhere, is because I took Trent and lost my job. So so
Okay,
I'm gonna do it
so you just
again.
told your wife the part about like, oh yeah, I just want to get my kids out of these schools. Let's move to 4,000 miles away.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't even tell her that. I was just like, Here's the GPS coordinates. Meet me there. I'll see you in a month." um,
Yeah,
but yeah. So I'm gonna do it again, but I figure this time if
I
I cut
wouldn't
out
take Trent because
caffeine
I don't
and
want to go
nicotine,
bald.
I think I can do it better this time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, nicotine is, I think it's an aromatase inhibitor, and as
What the fuck
other,
does that mean?
well, like aromatase is an enzyme which converts testosterone to estrogen. This is like the broad, high level layman's view. I mean, I'm not a chemist. I don't really
This sounds
understand what the fuck
extremely
I'm
gay.
saying, but it is gay. Like, and if you inhibit aromatase, then a lot of that testosterone won't be converted to estrogen. So, I mean, technically, if you can get like a medical grade aromatase inhibitor and just take that, you'll have a little bit more testosterone and a lot less estrogen. And that's both good, more testosterone, and bad because you need some estrogen for like bone health and, brain health. You don't need a whole lot. So, but I don't really want to fuck around with that shit because I don't want to go bald. So my experiments are pretty much just sticking to human growth hormone peptides, and
Yeah.
especially BPC 157. It could, just because it has an extremely localized effect. So when I was trying to PT my shoulders and injecting it into that, like I noticed like my shoulders are now permanently larger. The muscles are permanently larger. The PT didn't work because I need to inject it into the joint, so I need like an arthroscope. But my shoulders are permanently bigger now. And since aesthetics is really the only thing that matters, unless you're actually fighting someone, I think in the future I might continue to do that. At least for like the shoulders, neck. I mean, it might work in my back if I could get like a buddy or a girlfriend to inject it in the muscles or skin around my spine, then just do back exercises. But I'm pretty limited in what I can do since I can't load my shoulders. So I'm kind of fucked in that regard. But I mean, it's your life, and if you're taking tren, yeah, whatever. But you should probably be taking an aromatase inhibitor like aromacin, which you can buy on India Mart if you're going to be taking any sort of steroid testosterone supplement.
I don't know. I think I just want to do a clean cycle. I don't want to put anything unnatural in my system. You know what I mean?
Natural, like like Trenbolone.
I want to get some organic trend
Organic
and
tren.
yeah, I don't know about trend. You know how they make testosterone? Believe it or not, they make a lot of that shit from Mexican yams. Is how they synthesize it apparently.
Well, I mean,
And
like you a lot of stuff's made from like petrochemicals. So I mean, as long as it's as long as they follow good lab procedures, I don't think it really matters where they get it from.
yeah, they make a lot of it from soy too, apparently, which is kind of counterintuitive. But there's a way to turn it into testosterone, I guess, which is kind of cool.
Well, I mean,
Um,
estrogen is similar to testosterone since they both I think they're both related to cholesterol. I mean, this must sound so retarded to anyone with a background in chemistry. It must sound like two monkeys banging rocks together. But I'm sure if
um,
you can find some way to snip off different molecules off of stuff, that it would probably work just fine. And of course, they can
yeah,
always test it afterwards for purity.
I was also taking a lot of kratom. Um, I don't know how that affects testosterone levels.
Uh,
Um,
I
probably
wouldn't
probably
know.
not well.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. I think it drops them. I think kratom low. So if you think about it, if you take kratom and you take testosterone and tren, it should just average out. You know,
I don't know.
it's like you're not taking anything.
You just normal. That's like just like that's the baseline of like the Greeks like 2000, 3000 years ago. They all had like 2000 whatever level, whatever the measurement is. They had like 4 or 5 times the normal man today.
Well, that's what those guys had like huge femurs and shit. Like when you dig up Greek bones, they all had huge femurs and like blown open assholes.
Up in assholes. Yeah, I mean,
Skeletons with blown little boy skeletons with blown open buttholes.
yeah. Well, that's really weird considering how much they worshipped having a tiny dick back then. They saw having a big dick as humorous, and so I don't know how that would work out. You think that the mechanics of it, like having a tiny dick, that it wouldn't blow out the buttholes as much, but who knows? Maybe they were sticking
Well,
something else up there.
yeah, so the big dick is like the pre-Aryan, like it's almost like the village life. It's like what you see in like Africa and then like
You know,
rural Japan. It's like the women-dominated cultures
the
celebrate the
matriarchy. Yeah.
cock. Yeah, 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 yeah. The totems, the
Well,
earth mothers.
I have some thoughts about the matriarchy. I was thinking the past few days. If you'd like to hear them.
Yeah, one other thing real quick is it's similar like if you ever go to a bachelorette party, you notice everything is like dick themed. Like it's very female coded. They have
Well,
like dick
I have
straws and dick
observed some
lollipops.
videos of bachelorette parties on 4chan's gift board or WorkSafe gift boards, and everything does seem dick flavored or dick themed rather. I mean, they're usually sucking things out of the dick party compliments, like suckers or whatever. Or one time I saw a Hispanic lady had a dick on her birthday cake, and then of course she sucked it off, and then her friend grabbed the balls and squeezed it, and it squirted frosting into her mouth, and then she had quite a laugh about that. Like, or it
Oh, no,
was
what was
really
that on?
more
Like
cackling.
Chopped? Was that the Food Network?
I have no idea. It was some sort of Hispanic woman. I assume it's an Aztec ritual from
Oh yeah.
pre-contact days. But anyways, my thoughts about the matriarchy. The past couple days, like I like to go to the gym and do whatever workouts I can, being a completely physically broken elderly man of 40 years old. And I do them, and going to the gym is a meditative or contemplative experience about me where I just sit there and think of bleak thoughts about how miserable my life is and how much I want to kill everything I see and rape what I don't see or can't kill. And and then like normally that's great because I go around 12 to 2 or maybe 3 a.m. in the morning, and the only other people there are like psychos and skinheads and other freak shows. So we, we all get along. We ignore each other and try not to start fights, and it works out pretty well. But then recently, I noticed like there are women at the gym, and they're constantly eyeballing me. And I've been thoroughly rejected from every chick I've tried to ask out for the past 2 or 3 years. So I've learned my lesson in the sense of a dog being trained on like a table which shocks it no matter what it does, and it go to either side of the table and it'll still get shocked. Just learned helplessness to never ever interact with a woman unless just want to be absolutely mercilessly destroyed. And but then I forgot. Oh yeah, Valentine's Day is coming up. So women, they see all these other women who have guys, and then they think, wow, man, I need an accessory for my lifestyle. I need to get a boyfriend for a couple days. And so like after like years of tormenting guys and just me being completely mentally destroyed by women, it's like, oh hey, what are you doing? It's kind of like back in the day, like if you were a skateboarder, you hung out with them, and like just being completely loathed by women for being an outsider. And then like I think when the Pharrell, Pharrel, when that music video came out, and all the girls like, oh hey, skateboarding, it's cool now. Wow, brown people do it. Okay, it's socially acceptable. Okay. Oh hey, what are you doing, skateboard boy? Hey, you're like a little lost puppy. And now that it's socially acceptable, now that the hive mind matriarchy, the Zerg queen mother has decided that it's acceptable. It's acceptable for a woman to be seen with a skateboarder. Now you're finally allowed to talk to a woman now, and without her calling the cops on you for just being a drooling, like torture, tortured monster, like a fucking Frankenstein uh, elephant man freakazoid because because you're poorly socialized because you don't know how.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had a similar experience in the gym
yeah.
with women looking at me, but that was
Oh, and also
because
the guys look at me and they try to like the younger guys who are there explicitly because the women are there. Like, hey, bro, why aren't you talking to this woman, man? You mind if I talk to her? Hey, let's sit here and commiserate, man. It's like, no, okay,
oh my god, if anybody ever tried to talk to me at the gym, I would kill myself. I just that's the last thing I want to do is talk to
yeah,
another person. So people used to look at me at the gym, especially when I was going through my trend phase,
yeah,
because I had a like a pre-lifting ritual to get myself amped up.
yeah,
I would every single time, and so you do like a 5x5 set, and you do, I don't know, 5 different sets or 5 different workouts or whatever. So you end up being like 20, 30 total. And before each one, I would watch that one scene from The Northman where he says, "I am Bear Man, son of Beowulf. and I am his vengeance. You know that scene I'm talking about?
No,
Where
but go
you
on.
I would watch that until I was like on the verge of tears. And
From
then
laughter?
no, no, not laughter.
Not
I would I
laughter.
would I would I would just watch the shirtless Viking man from the movie screaming until I started crying. And then I would be like, "Yes!" and start lifting. And I got a couple side eyes. I think women were very attracted to that.
Oh yeah,
A
absolutely.
man watching YouTube videos crying at the gym and squatting 75 pounds. I think they were really turned on by that.
Oh
So
yeah,
I know
absolutely.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I back when I could actually get emulators to work on my phone, I would I jury rigged with like shoelaces 550 cord and Velcro. Jury rigged like a phone holder so I could Velcro my phone to like a treadmill, and then I would play like video games on emulators on my phone with like a dinky little controller in my hand, and I would just walk for like hours, just trying to not stop being fat and strengthen my heart to cope with my miserable existence as a complete fucking loser. All part of staying upbeat, of course. And I would just get like the most like, oh my god, what is this guy doing? Like, why isn't he looking at my butthole right now? What a creep. Can we ban him, please? And you just can't win. Like, like I would like to have a gym. Well, actually, I'd like to just have a home gym. But if not, I'd like to own a gym that is maximally hostile to women.
Yeah.
So, like,
I had a lot of women who judged me too for playing, my Game Boy in
yeah.
the gym, and it
Well, you
had
you were
a
playing a
Game Boy
hentai game, right?
well, it had a Game Boy camera connected to it which kept flashing and making the camera shutter sound. As as I was strategically placed right behind them as they
Yeah.
did deadlifts. Um, so yeah, I know what it's like to be discriminated against.
Yeah, I would. Okay, I got an Amazon package, I guess. I would consider replacing the camera shutter sound effect on my phone with like the sound effect from Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo, where he says, "That's huge, bitch,"
Yeah, or
and
how
just
about
have that
just
play.
a 30-minute audio clip from Elliot Rogers every
That could
time you
work.
take a picture.
I would rather have the who was the guy who was the head. I should probably actually go pick that package up like right now, considering I
Yeah,
live in
you're
like
good.
the homeless state of one of the homeless capitals of like the West Coast. I should go get that package
It's
now.
red alert. Yeah, go get
Yeah,
it. Go get it. Hurry. Hurry.
well, I can pick my laptop up and walk. But who
This
was
is
that
cool.
guy
This
who would
is
give
this
the
is like a
Nazi
mission. This
speeches?
is this is like Escape from New York.
Excuse me. Okay, I can
What did
handle
you
it with one
order?
hand.
Did you order anything good?
I think I ordered a own a hole.
A what?
You know what that is, right?
An Onan hole?
No, it's own a hole. It's sort of like a girlfriend, but you own a hole.
Oh, I thought you said Odin hole.
Oh well, I guess if you're into that, maybe. Okay, door's locked, and we're back. I think I'm gonna turn my heater on in my. Can you hear that?
Yeah. So
You,
a little white power. Time to break out the Odin hole.
yeah, the own a hole.
1488 boys. Time to
Yeah.
dive into the Odin hole.
Well, an own a hole, I think, is it's basically like a pocket pussy, but it's attached to like a doll, and it's also portable, so you can get it with you can take it with you for your goon sessions if you have to do some emergency gooning.
Wait, isn't a fleshlight already portable?
Well, yeah, but this has like the picture of your favorite anime waifu in it. There's a difference. And then
Okay, so it's like the game Guess Who, where the things pop up and it's got somebody's picture on it, but it's got a slot for your dick under the picture.
Yeah, kind of. And you can also get mechanical ones where it's like where it mechanically massages your dick. Okay.
They should make a game, Guess Who, but it's just like 50 different fleshlights, and you have to pick them up and fuck them and guess whose vagina it is.
There's actually a Japanese porn parody game show. It's not an actual game show, it's just porn, but they kind of have that theme that is exactly that, what you just said. Don't ask how I know that.
Damn. Is it like a board game?
Uh, I think it's incest theme, actually.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah.
I mean, all Japanese people are basically related anyway. It's like
Yeah,
if
it's
you
all from
fuck
like,
one, you fucked all of them.
they're all from like the same four Chinese people there who showed up there 2,000 years ago.
Yeah. You see, you've been inside one of them, you've been inside all of them.
Yeah, they all sound the same, anyways.
So, okay, so you bought this portable
I didn't actually.
fleshlight.
I'm just playing along for the joke. I don't even remember what I bought. Let's actually
Oh.
look.
Okay.
Okay, some scouring pads. What is this thing? A green nightlight.
This is great.
Trash bags.
This
This
is
is
we're gonna
true
make this
content.
a premium episode right
Oh
here.
yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. For the paid viewers, bought a wireless ergonomic mouse
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
and something. I don't know what the fuck this is.
A replacement
Oh yeah,
catheter
soap.
set.
I bought soap, and the soap is leaking. Excellent. I just got all of my
Oh,
fucking hands too.
that sucks. That sucks dick. Damn.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yep. I don't think I've ever had like a single soap package arrive that's not leaking from Amazon.
But
So,
do they just spike it on your doorstep when they show up?
well,
They
I
just
assume
fucking
that they lift it up as high as they can, and like a
the
strong hand,
craziest
like
thing happened in my neighborhood. So I live in the middle of nowhere in Alabama, and
yeah,
it's not a big town. So we had all these Amazon packages going missing, and people figured they were being stolen, right?
yeah.
That's not what happened.
What
So
happened?
this woman is going out on a walk one day, and she starts walking out like into the wilderness. There's
Yeah.
just this big sort of just like dirt, just like excavation site. There's nothing for like a half a mile in any direction, and she comes across this giant pit in the ground and just filled with hundreds of Amazon packages. And there's this one black guy who was just driving out to the city limits and just throwing Amazon packages into this pit for no
For
reason.
no reason.
Yeah, no, I don't know if he was like sacrificing them to like Djibouti for like some
Yeah, it
sort of
just came
ritual.
unscrewed. That's all. It's fine. No, I got to rinse my
Yeah,
hands off.
but
It really
yeah,
looks like
that's
cum.
oh yeah. So if anybody's listening to this and wondering where your keyed energy package ended up, it's probably in a fucking pit in Alabama
Alabama.
somewhere.
So
Yeah,
this is just like he just didn't want to deliver the mail that day, so he just tossed it in the fucking pit.
I think that's what happened. Yeah.
I mean, we're reaching levels of laziness here that weren't even thought possible. Like he can't even be asked to steal a package. Like that's how lazy this
Right.
guy is.
Right. He had his own pit. He had his own
Yeah.
Amazon pit.
Oh,
He
I,
had a
I got a
landfill.
hitchhiking story about that
He had a
demographic.
landfill of other people's dreams.
Like when I was hitchhiking once, I met this guy in like a
I already know how
midwestern
this
state.
story is going to end.
Yeah, and anyways, he won some free labor, but while also having like the whole pity party cover story. So yeah, I'm gonna be helping this guy. Anyways, he had me scrapping for him, scrapping as in pulling scrap metal out of wherever he could find it, whatever sites he could find. For about a week, and in return, I got a bus ticket to I think Salt Lake City, which was a mistake, by the way. And anyways, what he would do is he would any kind of scrap metal he found, he believed that he could use it to enhance the soil of his area. So by burning it, and so if we found like aluminum or uh, iron or steel or brass or nickel, he would put in or aluminum foil. He would put it in a burn pit in his front yard and burn it, and stir the ash around so it was crushed. And so he basically was like building his own Superfund site, his own industrial pollution site in his front yard, and
Weird.
feeding his kid his throwing his chicken feed in there so he could get all the nutrients from the soil, the metals that he just burned into the soil for his chickens. And of course, every day I was there, we ate a bunch of fucking eggs. So I guess that's good
Huh.
enough to get all the soap off my hand.
So he's doing like dirt alchemy.
Yeah, and
That's weird.
you can guess the ethnicity, by the way.
No, what was the? I'm gonna guess like some weird Middle Eastern one.
Nope. This was in.
Greek.
Nope. This should be obvious.
Hmm. What was it?
Black. It
What?
was a black guy.
Huh.
Oh, and like one of the guys that the other guys he hired to also be a scrapper was some local guy, and he was like a pastor out there because of course they are. They're all pastors, and he had knocked up some 15-year-old girl out there in his church, along
Classic.
with being yeah pretty typical mating patterns for that species. Whew.
I worked for a guy in Land O'Lakes, Florida once.
There's a
Who
place in
had
Florida called Land O'Lakes.
Yeah, and it's
Seriously?
funny because everything is abbreviated there, LOL. So you'll drive by like a funeral home and it'll say like Wednesday 8 p.m. Child funeral LOL. So I worked for this guy who he moved from New York City to the middle of nowhere, Florida after something happened. Okay,
Can
and
I
it
guess the
started.
ethnicity?
He's like an Italian guy.
Oh, I was gonna guess Jew.
Yeah, well, he might have been. He was maybe like half and half. I don't know, but
I
he
mean, what's the
moves to
difference, really?
Florida. Yeah, and he yeah. Where did what the Romans? What happened to them? You're looking at them.
You're looking
So
at him, pal.
he moves to Florida and he starts this pizza place. That I get a job there, and we never had any customers. I worked there for like 6 months. Okay, so then he starts helping me with his side business, which is pizza consulting. Now, pizza consulting is where we basically scam people out of like 20 grand to help them start up pizza businesses. Okay, so this guy, I'm pretty sure he's like mobbed up or something, and he's just running like a money laundering scheme out of this fucking shithole pizza place that nobody ever comes to.
Yeah.
And then one day the cops show up. And apparently he threatened to blow up a golf course. And his exact words were, I didn't say I was a golf terrorist. I said, if I was a golf terrorist, I would have blown this place up. So, like, fucking the bomb squad, like, showed up at the pizza place. It was crazy. But I quit that job because he stopped paying me. And, yeah, my checks just stopped getting deposited.
Well,
So
that's the problem with your generation. You just don't have a work ethic.
yeah. Yeah, I got scammed by the half Jew pizza mob boss. He also had me plant knives in the shortcut behind his business because people kept trespassing. And I later found
So
out it was well.
how
He
does
had me
that
plant.
work?
I was sticking knives in the ground, like handle down, knife up, so like people would step on them, I guess,
Oh,
like a booby trap. And I found out the people using that shortcut were kids walking to like a school bus stop.
dude, what the fuck?
I don't know if I got any. I don't know. I probably got one, at least one of them, but
Well, they probably had it coming,
yeah, you know,
They'd probably
one of those
stolen
kids is
some bubble
probably
gum.
a shitty kid. You know, just
Yeah.
any random sample. One of them is going to be a shitty kid.
Yeah, one of them's not going to sit still during his 8-hour work week, filling out worksheets and being harangued for being a man, for being male by some uh harpy shrew bitch.
Yeah, or it's Florida, so one of them could have been Puerto Rican.
Well,
There's
yeah,
lots of options.
but that's more of a disability than a moral failing.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. Anything else in the show notes? Let me check.
the,
Let me
the show notes.
let me check Steam chat.
Let me look back in the Amazon package, see if there's anything else that we need to cover.
Okay. Uh, Ayo, nigga, it's 5 p.m. here. Did you mean 7 p.m. Pacific or wherever the fuck you are? Oh wait, that's not show notes. Uh,
Do we have show notes?
well, I've been messaging you on Steam and texting you stuff. I
I
assume you're
I
just
haven't looked at
so
any of your
high
Steam
on
message.
caffeine.
I
You didn't
haven't
even
looked
look.
at any of your Steam message. Let me look
Okay.
through something about raping dolphins.
Oh yeah, like
Um,
the Joshua Rainier tweeted, "Smartest non-primate animal loves to rape," and there's a picture of a dolphin with a chud in the background, semi-transparent. Okay, so here's one: practical logistics of quitting porn. Everyone just says, "Just stop jacking off, stop it," but they never actually
yeah.
discuss really how to do that. And the thing is, like, what circumstances do you start doing that? Like, is it where you're laying in bed for like 2 hours in the morning, like in a haze, like trying to become awake, and you just get bored and look at your phone, and start jacking off? Well, get the fuck up immediately and do whatever it is you're trying to do. And so, like, arrange your life so you don't have any opportunities to do it. And that's really what you should be doing for everything. Arrange your life so that whatever things you don't want to do, you don't have the opportunity to do them. You have a lot of obstacles in the way, and whatever you do want to do, you have opportunities to do it, and you don't have any obstacles in the way.
Oh
And then,
yeah.
if you have to, if you need to not to go to sleep, then just wait until the last moment before when you're in bed before you talk to Molly Hands or whatever the hell we call it these days, whatever the kids
Right.
call it
Yeah.
these days.
What anything you're trying to quit, really, boredom is what makes a lot of guys fall off the wagon.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's
just
absolutely boredom.
yeah, just like having time to kill, and then they're just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna shoot up or jerk off or whatever it is." That's what gets a lot of guys. And what's funny? You mentioned falling asleep. I done a lot of shit in my day, and I know a lot of guys who have quit some of the harder stuff, myself included. And what makes a lot of guys fall off the wagon, believe it or not, is not being able to go to fucking sleep.
Oh
A
yeah,
lot of guys start taking sleeping pills and they start drinking. One thing leads to another. And it's the same guy with a lot of guys for like jerking off and stuff. It's just, whatever it is about sleep and being bored. Those are like the two things where the devil will get you for whatever reasons. You just got to stay busy and, just work out or something so you're tired and you fucking fall asleep at the end of the night.
yeah. I mean, for me, it's just doing lots of low impact cardio, and that'll help me sleep. It'll also make me basically a fucking zombie during the day, which makes it hard to interact with people because I look at them like I basically look exactly like the local crackhead population, where I'm just so exhausted from my previous night's 3 hours of cardio that I'm you know basically a cow. Like, look like I'm
So you
drooling.
go on you go on a treadmill and your skin gets 6 shades darker and you grow natural hair and you get like a white frothing at the mouth kind of encrusted like sort of jizz look around the edges of your lips and crack lips and
Well,
cocoa
no,
butter. That's what the
no,
treadmill does to you.
no, not quite. I mean, I've been considering taking some tanning peptides so my skin gets a little darker, but I'm actually just very naturally deathly pale, and I have purple bags underneath my eyes. And if I'm sleeping well, you can't really notice them. But if I don't sleep well, if I'm exhausted from doing this bunch of cardio, then and attempting to diet, which always fails, then I look just utterly dead, exhausted. Like I just
You- You're a dark Aryan.
yeah
You're like a Twilight protagonist, dude.
yeah
Women love that shit.
not
Sad
really
Aryan. Women love that shit, dude.
like you totally threw me off my. I have no idea.
Yeah, what we were talking about. Oh yeah, jerking it. You gotta stop
Okay,
jerking.
well,
What gets a lot of guys too is it's the fucking algorithm is what you gotta watch out for because
yeah,
you
your whatever's your
start
trigger.
yeah, and then it's like look at this thing and look at this other thing that's a little bit weirder. Now look at this other thing that's a little bit weirder. Next thing
Well,
you know, you
you can kind of reverse that. Like cold turkey has never really worked for me, but cool turkey does. And cool turkey is when, like, like instead of just jerking off to like porn, like is
You
you go
buy
to
a
like
Lunchable and you stick. No, what is it?
no, you buy a hot dog bun and then you get some lube and well no, actually it's
You
like
fuck a
you find
Lunchable
something.
and then put it back in the grocery store.
Oh no.
Um,
Okay, I'm the wrong ethnic group to do that. Okay? I'm white. I can't do that. I have I have standards. But yeah, it has to be something I prepared myself, especially if I killed the animal myself, or at least if I found the roadkill. But and then you just stick it in the freezer, and then when it gets when you're ready to go, you get a hand warmer, stick it in there, wait 5 minutes, and it's as good as new. And then like if you find like a dead prostitute floating in a pond in the middle of winter, you do the same thing.
oh, that happened in my old neighborhood in Seattle. They found one in a briefcase.
Was
A
she
bunch of
doing
kids
anything?
did. Um, she was doing that trick where a magician separates a woman into 20 pieces. She was doing that inside of a suitcase, and a bunch of kids found her and uploaded it to TikTok.
Huh.
Um, yeah.
But
Uh,
anyways, back on topic. So like if you normally like wank it to videos, then wank it to something 2D, or if you normally go to 2D where it's real people, go to 2D cartoons, preferably not the ones that'll get you sent to prison, depending on your state. And if you normally do it to 2D, do it to stories. If you normally do it to stories, just do it to your imagination. I mean, once you get to the point
just
where you
worked your
just
way down to shadow animals,
yeah, just
shadow
the
puppets.
shadow people in like the periphery of your vision, when they start looking seductive, that's when you know.
The voices. Stop taking your schizophrenia medication and
Yeah.
jerk it to the voices in your head.
Yeah, once the call the void tempts you into fucking it, then you know,
When
the
you jizz
abyss.
into
Yeah,
the void jizzes
when you look
into
into
your
the abyss,
mouth and ass.
sometimes the abyss like rolls its eyes up in its head and opens its mouth and sticks its tongue out, and that's when you nut. Like
What
another
were you saying?
thing.
Oh yeah, don't jack off. That was the point of this.
Yeah,
Stop
yeah.
jacking off.
Okay, we should
Stop
put our
it.
dicks away then. You haven't been
Yeah,
jerking
you
off this
should.
whole time?
So, I mean, I would say if you're a young man listening to this, which you're not because no one's listening to this, but
No
if
one's
you're a
listening
young
to
man if you're a young man listening to this, I would say at the very least try not to look at porn a lot because that's
that. Yeah.
will really turn your brain into mush.
Oh
Like
yeah,
there's something
absolutely.
really yeah, it's not good for you,
It's gay.
especially now. Yeah, and nowadays there's so much like sinister shit online, and they're trying to get you into Telegram channels, and
Yeah, there's
God only knows what's
trannies that
going
want to
on in
groom
there,
you.
dude.
Like
Yeah,
there's literally like Hansel and Gretel, like fairy tale monsters on the internet that want to rape you.
yes, that's a great way to put it, dude. Like for real, yeah, for
But I
real.
mean,
There was that. Did you see that satanic cult? That
the
guy. All right, you remember
the
like a
seven
year?
six four one, or
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah, the guy
I
whose
mean, I read
dad
the
tried to
Kiwi
shoot him.
Farms thread on it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
His
So it
dad tried to
started.
shoot him.
Okay, so this started like 2 years ago. There was a video of this white trash, like older stepdad and
Oh, I
mom,
remember that. Yeah, yeah, I
and
saw
the
that.
stepdad shoots the gun at the kid,
I think he
and he's
shoots
like,
him in
"Oh,
the hand or something.
yeah." Well, he shoots him in the ear, and he's like, "What? You fucking shot me in the ear." And then the dad goes into the other room and blows his own.
I think he got in
So
a shootout with the cops or something and
yeah,
got
yeah,
killed.
sure. So the cops show up and start looking around. At some point, they collect the kid's laptop, and he is the dude running this cult
Yeah,
that's
he's
like
a tranny.
blackmailing little.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like blackmailing little girls on the internet or whatever.
yeah, I
And
remember that.
at some point, the guy's mom dies or ODs in a hotel room, and he like does a bunch of shit to the mom and uploads pictures of it.
Quality people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's just like classic 4chan stuff. So no judgment there.
Yeah.
That's old school
Who
B
among us?
posting.
Who among us?
Just uploading your mom's dead body to 4chan. But so while he's doing all that, he's like, it's exactly like you said, just like luring these little kids in and blackmailing them and getting them to like kill their own pets and like crazy shit like that.
Yeah, and
Like,
carve their names in into
yeah,
their
yeah,
arms
yeah,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah,
Trying to
so
remember
you know, that guy, I guarantee you, that
Brothers
guy
Grimm,
started out that guy started out just like, he was just like
gooning to
watching some
porn.
porn. Yeah, he probably watched like a Girls Gone Wild video, and next thing you know, he's like the
Cutting his dick
devil.
off.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like jerking off to little girls, impaling their cats on, fucking scissors.
Like another thing about porn is like women can tell when you've been gooning and your testosterone, your body generally heals and regenerates while you're sleeping. So if you jerk off in the morning and you go out, you're going to be sluggish and you're going to be out of it and you're going to look like everyone's going to know you've been beating it. You can't meet people in the eye. You can't look people in the eye. You can't speak up. But if you go out and you're fresh, nut free, and you're horny as hell, and you want to talk to everyone. You've had your caffeine, you have your Zyn, you have your nicotine patch, you have your Trenbolone, and you're just bouncing around talking to everyone. And then
You
like
have
when
your
you go
coffee
home,
enema.
your
You
coffee
have your
enema,
fentanyl. You
you
have
have your fentanyl reactors going. Your George Droid Nick Link is your uplink is
you've
100%.
had your morning lean,
Morning lean, correct. Your crack
all of
rocks
that.
have
Yeah,
been
and you didn't
smoked.
jerk off. Yeah.
You've gambled on the internet, and you go out, you talk to people, and then after a long day of being rejected by women, you go home and you cry yourself to sleep while jerking off, and then you can finally go to sleep, and then the next morning you start all over again. And so it kind of like doing it at night instead of in the morning kind of matches your body's own natural inclination, your circadian rhythm, which you've completely destroyed from drug abuse and taking supplements and research chemicals.
Yeah, I will say I agree that everybody can tell if you've beat off, but I kind of like that. I like it's like man spreading, just
It
walking into a room and everybody could feel
well, it's
the
more
the
entertaining.
poison emanating off of you and just owning the room.
Well,
It's just
I
making
think it's better just to have like visible stains in your clothing, body odor. It's better to like like you're an anti-paladin in Dungeons and Dragons and you have like an aura of despair.
yeah,
Everyone
you broke
around
your
you
oath.
is just like, oh, I feel so horrible being around this person. He's chaotic evil, and you're like, yeah, and then the guitar solo starts.
Yeah, I'm an oath breaker paladin. I
Yeah,
swore I wouldn't jerk off to a cuckold porn, but I broke my oath.
I broke my oath. So hail Satan. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I do think that a lot of that stuff is a psyop, though, 100%. Like,
Oh,
especially
absolutely.
on 4chan, although it didn't used to be like that. But now, I mean, you go on there and it's all just like degenerate shit, you know?
Well, it's partly because the mods over there on 4chan, like there's this guy called his username is Rape Ape, and he's like Kamala, and that he's like half Hindu, half African American, and he lives in New Mexico, and there's a bunch of other people, but they're basically all either Reddit users or something awful people, you know,
Yeah.
back in the day. And I guess Moot was more one of those people where he wanted to be cool. And Moot himself glows like he glows so hard. Like
Does he still
after
own 4chan?
no, he sold it to some Japanese guy who
Right,
runs
right.
2channel, which is the Japanese version of 4chan. Anyways, after Moot got done with 4chan, he went to Google. When Google is basically like the U.S. State Department, it's a cutout for them. Like so many people move back and forth between them. It's pretty obvious that they're all spooks, but glowies. Anyways, at Google, and I think he still works there. He has not done a single fucking thing. He has no projects to his name. He's just a complete fuck up. He just gets paid to do nothing. He gets a salary to do fuck all, and that's his reward for handing over 4chan to the feds.
Interesting. Interesting.
And I think I read somewhere from someone who may be in the know or may just be full of shit that every post that's on there, even when it gets archived, it's not deleted. It goes into some sort of like queue where it's kept on like server somewhere for 6 months while then like if all the images and all the text are analyzed for certain keywords or ran against database of existing illegal content of various varieties. And
Yeah, I think I
if
think
it
that
matches,
that's like
then it
I
gets
think they
flagged.
legally yeah, they legally have to do that for a
Yeah, they
lot of
kind of have to
websites.
do that. Like think anything with user uploaded content has to do that to some degree. They have to keep the records for 6 months. I don't know about the automated stuff, the automated post checking, but it's basically just a glowy cutout these
You
days.
know what I would love to see? You know how when Elon bought Twitter and there was like the Twitter archives or whatever they called it, where they leaked all the back and forth between the State
Yeah.
Department and I would love to see what happened, if at all, with 4chan. If there was any sort of involvement there with the
I
U.S.
mean,
government and 4chan, there
there
has
have
to be, right?
there has to be in the law enforcement sense, just from all the illegal shit that gets uploaded up there. So it would kind of be like a nothing burger. And honestly, not that many interesting things have come out of 4chan. I would rather see it for Reddit, to be honest, because there's a lot more interesting stuff that comes out of there. And also, there's a lot more, even by, there's a lot more glowy stuff that goes on there, even by my extremely paranoid standards. I mean, what's his name?
Yeah.
Epstein's girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, was apparently a power user there, a power mod. There's all sorts of tranny mods who were running like a bunch of different subreddits. Like there's obviously been a lot of gay ops there. Like the Coney 2012 thing was clearly an influence operation that was
Yeah.
kind of like a test run for the various color revolutions that took place in the same era, which were also promoted by, basically stirred up. They're all fake and gay, stirred up by U.S. State Department. Like it's kind of like old Obama era shit.
Yeah, it's all just the Arab Spring. It's all different
Yeah,
flavors of Arab Spring bullshit.
yeah, and I mean, if you look at it, like 2020 was basically a color revolution, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it
I
meets all the
mean
criteria.
I mean 2020 was literally a colored revolution.
It was. It was the colored revolution, like you said. It was
I mean,
the
fuck,
brown revolution,
fuck, man. In my neighborhood, um,
the
I
SoundCloud
live,
rapper.
yeah, SoundCloudistan. I lived right around the Chaz Chop thing. And it got
Was
pretty
that in
wild, dude.
Portland or Washington?
That was in Washington. That was around
Uh,
Capitol Hill area, Seattle. Um, so yeah, that was fucking nuts, man. Seeing they were like taxing local businesses and shit. I mean, everybody already knows about this now. This is a big story at the time, but yeah, they started their own police force, and within a
which
week,
immediately shot like two black kids. Yeah,
they shot a black kid in the head. Which I mean,
based,
no,
but
yeah, um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. They just let them in, and the cops wouldn't do anything. They would like negotiate with the people who took over. They would like ask for permission to come in if somebody was injured. Hey, can we please come in and get them? And it was totally cucked, and the government bent over backwards and let those people do whatever the fuck they wanted.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, it was implicitly supported by the government from the beginning.
yeah.
I
More
mean,
hate on the cops, by the way. They deserve it.
yeah, well,
Like,
it's funny because
that,
that whole thing started over a police station. Like
yeah,
that's what they were like opening a police station there, and people chimped out about it and went in, burned it down. The cops left. The
yeah.
cops fuck.
Total
It's like
cuck.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like they just dipped out, and okay, the police station's yours. Turn it into a fucking organic garden, where you can't grow anything because you're a bunch of fucking faggots
Yeah,
who don't have
they
the
literally
skills of an
they
African
literally
man
went to
burning
Walmart
iron.
and like they got like 2 or 3 bags of potting soil. They put some cardboard down the grass, spread the potting soil over that, and I think they bought like 2 or 3 tomato plants and popped them on that, and the plants immediately started wilting because like okay, like an inch of potting soil is not enough root structure for a tomato plant, and also it needs like something to hold it. I mean, did you like have you ever grown a tomato plant in like seventh grade biology class and like dissected the tomato and then eat it with like ranch dressing because that's what we did in fucking seventh grade biology class. Like these people are so fucking dumb. Like what the fuck did they even do in school?
Well, I mean, the school for them existed. It was just, especially in Seattle, it's just it's what you do to indoctrinate people, basically. I
Yeah.
mean, the school I would have taken my kids to in King County, they have posters on the wall for,
Is that literally
11.
named after Martin Luther King?
Um, no, it was named after King Kong. Um,
Well, same difference.
yeah, I think it was named after Martin Luther King. Um, that's where the same area where the Green River Killer operated. He was one of the most prolific serial killers. He just killed like 16-year-old prostitutes around King County
What
for
race were
like
they?
10 years. Um, I don't know. Usually serial killers are intraracial, so they were
Uh,
probably white. Not a lot of
huh.
interracial serial killers, believe it or not. Um,
Well, there's always
but
hope.
yeah, yeah, we need to DEI serial
Yeah,
killings.
we need to
Disparate
diversify that.
impact. Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
disparate impact.
besides the usual suspects who have already done that, but it's only one
Yeah.
way though. But enough Fed posting. But anyways, what were we talking about? We were talking about Washington
Like
County or King
masturbating.
County? No, King County.
Oh yeah.
You were talking about
So
sound
yeah,
clouds.
yeah. So the school my kids would have went to before he moved, they had posters all over the walls. This is a school for like 12-year-old girls about how to bind your breasts if you identify as a man. This is like a school for children. Um, so yeah, think about the kind of person who goes to a school like that. This is the kind of retard who grows up and doesn't know how to grow to,
People?
you know, yeah, 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 right. Because they weren't taught that. They were taught, ideological bullshit. They were taught, fake moral platitudes and how to make the herd happy. And none of that involves getting your hands dirty and growing a fucking tomato or using your brain. It's tying your
Yeah,
tits down like
yeah.
like a fucking corset.
Even when my fifth grade uh, Karen is a slur against white women, though I don't like using it. Even when my fifth grade teacher was being a complete bitch to me and just screaming at me for no fucking reason, even though I did everything correctly on my assignment because I didn't show the work for one fucking math problem, and she's going through menopause. Like even when that was happening, I was still learning stuff. Like besides just like never speak to women. Like I was still
Yeah.
learning like fifth grade algebra and learning the difference between a noun and a gerund, which I don't fucking remember.
Well,
And
Karens are descended from the pre-Aryan, European ethnic groups.
I
Yeah,
think you're right. I was thinking about
Karens
that
come
earlier.
from Karens come from the
The
pre-Indo-European,
matriarchies.
pre-Aryan groups that
Well,
that's
like
why if you look at like the French Revolution, the women running that were basically Karens because
like
that was a fight between
I was
Aryans and
literally
pre-Aryans.
thinking about that. I was literally thinking about that. Like I've been thinking the past few days, like there's some women who like me a lot. They really like me and respect me, want to be around me.
Yeah, those are Aryans.
Yeah, I think they're descended from women who accompanied like the horse lords out of, wherever the fuck they came from in the central uh, Eurasian steppes. And they're pretty cool. They like me. And there's all these other women who are just, they seem to be descended from matriarchal tribal uh, queens or whatever. And they're just
Yeah,
domineering bitches.
when I go to the library and the women who call the police on me for masturbating in the library, they're the pre-Aryan,
Yeah.
uh, you know, they're not the horse lord matriarchs
Yeah.
who
The
let
horse
me
lord
masturbate in the
matriarch
public library.
would hold your arm while you're injecting fentanyl. The
Jer-
ride or
jerk,
die bitches.
jerking off in the public library and judging everyone else for not being in
Yeah.
the master race.
Yeah, she's fondling your balls while you're jerking off in the public library. You know,
You know, that's why, in the South, people like to talk about how based the South is. There are really no public amenities in the South because
because black
nothing
people
works. Yeah, you can't have anything. You can't have anything. Like,
like
you can
we're,
maybe have a YMCA if it's really expensive, but like public pools, libraries, all that shit has to be factored in, you know?
yeah, that's kind of
The-
happening here. Like where I am, like partly because we're bringing some of those people here, but like we're also bringing in like like Scottish borderers from from the borders of Scotland by way of like West Virginia, you know,
Whoa.
northern the northern south, or the southern north, Appalachia. They're bringing these people here, and like back when I was a hobo, my preferred living situation was to live like a half a mile up a mountain that is like 2,000 feet, 3,000 feet above sea level, just about a mile outside of a town, because no one would fucking go there. Like hobos were lazy back then, and like the only people who would ever find you or would be someone who was doing like a search and rescue for like a lost granny, or those people who do geocaching, and they'd usually be pretty cool. And I'd be like,
Lived like you're playing like a PvP survival gathering game online.
yeah, those are the only people who would find you, and they are like so incredibly Aryan. But and you know, you could, even then, you could live up a tree or on the other side of a stream that you have to cross in the dead of night by leaping across rocks that are wet and covered in moss. And it's just like, you just make it so difficult to reach you that no one would bother you. Even the police don't want to go out there. And you know, you learn how to walk at night without a flashlight, and navigating just by the lights, the city lights reflected off the clouds, or if there are no clouds, just by memory and sight and smell, and you know, the sound of water rushing by, and familiar, you know, memorizing stuff. And it's really
Yeah, I
bad
would live at the
if there's
base of
moonlight.
a volcano, and I would make a throne made out
Yeah.
of skulls,
Well, I wasn't that cool, but
playing Dio from cut with the speaker inside of the throne.
well,
That's where
I
I would
mean,
live.
I'm kind of being hyperbolic, but not really. Like, you have to make obstacles, or else other homeless people who are like addicted to something would move in next to you and just steal all your shit and leave piles of their shit everywhere. And but if you just made it difficult to reach you, that wouldn't be a problem. But with these homeless people who are coming here, like like I can't walk 18 miles a day and then, you know, walk uphill for half an hour to reach my campsite and duck underneath a tree and then climb over another fallen tree and cross a stream to get away from them, because they'll fucking follow me. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Being homeless is like a full loop PvP game.
Yeah,
Like,
like these people, these are like, they're motivated entirely by malice and a desire to steal things. And like I literally, like when these fuckers first showed up, like one followed me all fucking day long from one place to another. I must have walked around 12 miles that day, and then
damn,
back to
dude.
my
So
campsite.
you were hunted, bro. You were the
Yeah.
most dangerous prey.
Yeah, and all I did was sit in the library for 2 hours and to charge my phone, and then go to various meals, and then go outside and sit in the sun. And this dude was just zombieing me everywhere. And
Yeah,
then
that's just how that book, The Most Dangerous Prey, goes. The guy hides in the library for 2 hours.
yeah,
He charges his
yeah,
phone while the dude from Jumanji with a bow and arrow waits
yeah.
outside.
Yeah, and like one of those medieval caps that they wore, or no, colonial caps, whatever they're called,
Yeah,
the ones they
yeah,
wore in
yeah, yeah,
India.
with a big ass feather
Yeah,
in his cap.
but anyways, this dude followed me out to my camp, and then once he got there, like I was living 20 feet up a tree in like a hunting blind that I had bought at Walmart, and then hiked out there and then manually installed it. and I still had some stuff on the ground out there that I just couldn't fit up there, like a couple buckets of food that need to be cooked, which would be safe to leave out because the raccoons couldn't get into it. And he went
Who's
out
the
there,
guy from Who's the guy from Jumanji?
Robin
Robin
Williams.
Williams.
Yeah,
I picture you as Robin Williams now,
pretty
and you're
accurate.
being you're being tracked by the dad from Jumanji.
And he goes through all my stuff. He takes out his knife and he cuts my boot, the shoelaces on my boot, just cuts them right down the middle. Doesn't steal them, just destroys it. And he empties my food out, and he just sits there and grins at me and walks off. And like for no fucking reason, this didn't benefit him all. He just did it because he's a tweaker, and he's from the South, and they just hate everything. And and that's where I realized, like, I either need to kill this guy, which will see me in prison, because I mean, I'm on camera everywhere. This guy following me around, and they'll be able to figure out who it is pretty quick. Or I just need to get an apartment. And so I said, well, fuck it. I guess I'm getting an apartment. But yeah,
Damn, dude, he's like that
I
guy's
hate
nuts.
crackheads
That's
so
like
much.
the homeless Judge Holden from Blood Meridian,
Pretty much.
except he stole the dog food out of your boots or whatever the fuck
Yeah,
instead of
yeah,
you know.
yeah. He stole my cat food. I was gonna eat that cat food.
And he looked you in the eye and said, "In the jungle, you must wait until the dice reach 5 or 8."
Correct.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, that's an hour 30 of pure premium content
Wow,
for
that pure
premium
pure screeching
bonus
premium content.
premium bonus episode for the small price of $35 a month.
Yeah, for the
Um,
small price of ordering Keyed Energy, you get more of this content.
oh, I should do that, dude. You only get the podcast if you order my retarded energy drink.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
with like 100% daily recommended dose of magnesium, which is the
Dude, I
laxative, by
should
the way.
put the podcast onto a CD, and you can only listen to the podcast on a CD.
Yeah, buy my
Um,
mixtape.
yeah, dude, you have to listen to it on a CD player. Do
You
they?
could
Yeah,
pay homeless crackheads to hang out outside car washes and fill your CD.
dude, that's a really good marketing idea, honestly.
Absolutely.
All right, well,
I
that's
mean,
the plan.
they already shit themselves. Just give them the laxative infused energy drink.
Yeah, and the demographic I'm aiming for with this podcast, it's the kind of guy who definitely has a CD player in his car still.
Yeah, or he just
Like 95 Honda Civic with 5-year-old expired tags and like just
1990 Toyota Corolla.
yeah, just weed ashes all over the dashboard.
Yeah, or
A
better
car
yet,
seat in the back
a
with
Toyota Tercel.
roach burns.
A Toyota with a they stopped making those in 1988, I think. Toyota Tercel with what do you call the things in the back? A spoiler and
Yeah, yeah.
and a home rig stereo system with glue all over the seats. You know, like the
Yeah,
spot glue they used to put the wires in there.
a 93 Dodge Dart with cigarette burns and the car seat in the back.
Yeah, and like the fabric on the ceiling has all been cut off though, and you can see like the metal plates, and that's where they hide their dope stash from the cops and they get stopped.
You know what's funny? I had a Ford Taurus when I was like 20 years old, and it had electric windows that stopped working. But I wanted to smoke while I was driving, so I smashed out my driver's side window with a hammer. I
No,
swear to God, I did this.
you were
So
the
I could
most
drive
big
and
brain
smoke.
guy. Why
So I
not
could
smoke
drive
with
and
your window
smoke,
down?
but it wouldn't make my car smelly. I didn't want to make my car smell like cigarettes.
Like you could have just drilled a hole in the floor or in the ceiling or something, and you would have had the same amount of water leakage.
Yeah, I could have just forced the window down and left it down permanently, I
You could
guess.
have.
Or
Yeah, that
there's really
might have
a
worked.
billion fucking things I could have done other than smash the window out with a hammer. But
You know, whatever works really. I mean, maybe
yeah,
next episode we can talk about like the not the Biden era cafe regulations, which mandate electric everything, and also you have to have a dildo up your ass, but the Obama era cafe, you know, vehicle safety and emission standards, which made it so that we can't have light trucks or minivans,
Oh yeah, right.
and that every car has to look like a gay space mobile,
Yeah, they made cars gay. It's like they
gay
they didn't
spaceship.
stop at people. They had to make cars gay.
Yeah, the cars are actually HIV positive now.
All right.
Like that.
On that note,
That's why they wheeze so bad.
got AIDS. All right, man. Well, it's
See you,
been
see
real.
you later. This is Elf Foot
Enjoy.
Job. That's my current handle, which I'm not using anywhere because I'm permanently banned from everything. It's been nice
All right,
talking to you, Jacob.
Mr. Foot Job. Enjoy your Odin hole. Say
I
the
will.
white race busting inside of Odin.
Yeah, Hail Hortler,
1488.
uh,
Heil Hortler. All
Heil
right.
Hortler, and goodbye.
God bless.